Welcome into Rover-Sports. We might put this up as a podcast, but this is definitely the Thursday night football edition. It's just two guys just having a good time talking some football. I'm Spencer Grossinger.
Bruce, the sports doc here. We're from Rover-Sports, and we're here to talk some football.
Absolutely. We're here to project the next 3 games for each team in the NFL. I know you guys have been spectacular watching my videos, and now you see a face to the voice. So you have that going for you. Right here, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Rams. They're our first team that we're going to mention here, and we're going to be guessing or predicting the next 3 games of their existence. So this week, the Rams head out to Tampa Bay, Bruce, and how do you think that game's going to transpire out there?
Well, the way I analyze it, I look at the league in general as ebbs and flows. I saw the way the Tampa Bay got their keister handed to them in Arizona. They're playing at home. They're playing against what I think to be a hapless Rams team with Case Keenum as the quarterback. And I believe that the Tampa Bay not only will win the game, but they will cover. Jameis Winston will rebound with a good game. And Tampa Bay is one of those teams that plays so much better at home. Your thoughts?
I think in this matchup, I think the Rams are going to come into Tampa Bay with a vengeance. They just shut down the Seahawks. They only allowed Seattle to go score 9 points or 3 points. And I watched a lot of that San Francisco and St. Louis game. And St. Louis's offense was so inept versus the 49ers that Case Keenum really struggled. Every single time they had momentum in San Francisco, Tavon Austin or Gurley would get a penalty. It would set them back. They couldn't cross midfield. So overall, their defense has played great. And actually, they held San Francisco to 14 points for 3 quarters. And the last 2 touchdowns were kind of just a sign of giving up on Monday Night Football when they had no help offensively. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is a little overrated. They got torched by Carson Palmer last week. I don't think that their rookies, Hargraves and Spence, are going to progress at the level that they need. I look at Dirk Cutter still being young. This is a tough game for St. Louis, but I'm giving them the nod just because of their defense and their experience.
Los Angeles.
Ogletree is a very good
Old
player.
habits die hard.
Aaron Donald
you said
is
St.
a
Louis.
sick player.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I said that.
That's okay.
I'm still think of them, I still think of the Arches and the Edward Jones Dome and Kurt Warner in that team, but
yep.
I'm giving them the win versus
Guess what they are not? They're not the greatest show on turf anymore.
They're probably the worst show on
What are the worst show on turf? The
How
Browns
about the worst
actually
show on grass.
Yeah, it's true. The Browns are the worst show on any playing surface. Not to offend the Cleveland fans.
Cody Kessler might just be one of the worst quarterbacks to ever be inserted in the football.
Although our third stringer for New England,
Brisket.
Mr. Brisket of Beef, or as we say in
Jack.
French, Brisket of both.
Jack Brisket. Yeah.
Jack Brisket,
From
yes.
North Carolina State.
Indeed,
yep. I think that, why doesn't Kyle Orton get a call?
Well, I think that Jeff Garcia is still waiting for that same call.
Jeff has a pretty good-looking girlfriend, though. I think he's doing just fine. Anyhow, I have a win there. Rams Cards. This should be a simple one for you. Rams going to Arizona, and after you have them lose.
Oh yes, okay. So I was getting a little confused because I was thinking of this week. I'm going. Didn't you tell me they were going to Tampa? That's why this is what they call unfiltered. This is
why it's the future.
This is the future.
This is the future.
So Rams going to Arizona?
Yes, sir.
I call that a thorough shellacking.
Yeah.
And I believe that Bruce Arians is going to have a little wampum. We're going to eat a little lamb. We're going to eat some lamb chops.
Wonton soup?
No, I think it's going to be more like lamb chops. It's going to be lamb chops in mint sauce. It's going to be great.
Mint sauce.
Mint sauce,
and
yes.
Lamb chops.
Mint sauce, yes. The Rams will be,
Arians.
they will be, as we say, thoroughly destroyed and abused in Glendale, Arizona.
I think they're going to get Brussels sprouted or broccoli out there too. I think that the game's going to be completely one-sided, and it's going to be just a horrible game to watch. But I think it's low scoring.
Great game if you're a Cardinals
like
fan.
19.
Great game if you're betting on the Cardinals.
19, maybe 28-13 Cardinals win comfortably.
Let's continue.
Handsomely.
Let's continue.
Thoroughly.
Let's continue.
Bills and Rams. Rams get
Ooh,
to
this
host
is
the
going to be
Bills.
two of the worst teams. Bills traveling west to go to the Pacific time zone. Oh, my God. The Bills are so disappointing. Tyrod Taylor, Rex Ryan on the verge of swinging from a rope in Buffalo. And I believe the Rams, with that big $80,000, that's probably what they're worth, actually. That's what the whole franchise is worth. Sorry about the Freudian slip.
You could get a Rolex with that kind of dough.
Or you could buy the whole Rams franchise. But here's the deal.
Can I go take Les Snead, put him in a cage
a low-scoring, ugly game, and the Rams will eke it out against the hapless Bills.
Can I buy Les Snead, the GM, for $80K?
You may, but you'd be overpaying.
How about Jeff Fisher? That's stacked.
Jeff Fisher is clearly the one coach in all of professional sports that has hung on with the professional team through, I won't even say mediocrity,
thick and thin,
through
baby.
complete futility.
Yeah, no, I'd say 8-8 ain't futility.
I think it's complete mediocrity.
Yes.
Next game, please.
Listen, Jeff Fisher, there's a reason that he's a football coach because he led Tennessee to the promised land. He's a defensive-minded coach. He has Greg Williams there leading the ship. I have them beating the Bills, so I have the Rams at 3-2. I think this is the year where they can make some serious noise.
Okay. Next team.
My face, I love how my face is just black on this side.
This is called the Dark Side of the Moon series.
I love this, actually. It's definitely
It's very
intriguing.
mysterious.
It's intriguing.
Half the people out there can't see us. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's continue.
Yes. The good news is this is a fun little YouTube bit that we're going.
Whatever you do, it's fun for us, but let's not legislate humor for the audience. Let's continue, please.
Legislate.
Yes, let's continue. Let's go.
That's a good word.
Not bad.
49ers now, okay? So we're doing the NFC West.
We're doing the chippers.
Yeah, we're doing the chippers, okay? So you have the Rams at 1-3, or 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Rams at 3-2.
Okay, let's do the 49ers.
I have
strong opinions. I have strong opinions about the
49ers going to Seattle.
I personally think that will be a complete hogfest, and that means I don't know. I watched Chip Kelly here for 3 inglorious years. I know he's the most rigid guy in the world. He calls the same 6 plays.
Sure.
I believe the rest of the league will find out. Pete Carroll's a pretty good coach. They've got a great defense. This is going to be bet the house on the Seahawks.
When I look at this matchup, 49ers versus Seattle Seahawks, I see one of the ugliest games ever existing.
Oh, very ugly. Very low-scoring affair, I would say.
I would say this is like Winterfell. I'd say like Blaine Gabbert is going into the dark ages, in this game in Seattle.
He's going to a very blue period.
I think he might I think the rain might just pierce through his pale skin and he just might rot out on the football field.
At least he might get a good fish in Seattle, but let's continue. I think we should dwell on this loser game. I don't want to.
What I'm going to say
I don't want to put people to sleep.
Is zero chance that the Seattle Seahawks will lose to the Chippers. I think that the Chippewas are going to be running Carlos Hyde into a brick wall. Blaine Gabbert will be trying to put a corkscrew through a metal fence. And basically the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, Jimmy Graham, it's going to be like 25-2. And maybe 3. Not a safety, but
I believe this is when you'll see Jed York and Chip Kelly start feuding. When they start feuding, it's going to be epic.
I can't wait, honestly, for that to happen.
They are going to implode.
It's just inevitable.
The 49ers will implode.
But do you see
I've seen this show before.
49ers are not going to operate.
I've seen this act.
Michael Bennett, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor. I can name players on their defense, actually.
Yeah,
which is a unique skill.
It's very impressive. I like that.
Okay, yeah.
You read very well. Next game, please.
Cowboys at the San Francisco Niners. Again, we're doing the Niners. We both agree Seattle, like maybe a 0% chance.
Okay.
I think this is go.
In my opinion, if the Cowboys were not privy to the chip offense for the last 3 years, my inkling would be to give the Niners a chance at home. Dallas has a terrible defense. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, And I think Dallas is going to win by 3, only because they know Chip Kelly, they know his tendencies, and I do believe Dak Prescott will get better with experience, although the Dallas defense is indeed very poor. So I think this will be a bad game, but it will be what I call a very bad, this is how we characterize it, a very bad high-scoring affair.
I actually agree with you that it's going to be high scoring. Because I don't see the Niners defense, you have Bowman, you have Reed. I know that the Niners have played decently, except Carolina did score 46 on them, but that's a product of Cam Newton. I think the Niners can actually win this game. I think that Blaine Gabbert's actually going to have success against the Dallas defense. I think Hyde will run. It's a Sunday night game. I think the Chippewas actually win this game 30-23 over Dallas.
So here we have a divergence of opinion. I'm going with Dallas, and you're going with the Niners.
I'm going with the Niners.
Very good.
At home, they're going to slice through Dallas's defense. Dallas, again, their interior line's one of the worst in the NFL. The Niners will tire them out as we continue to go.
Sure, let's continue with the Niners.
Yes, we can proceed. Our faces are blurry at different times. I don't know.
That's all right. Well, that makes it more interesting because, I don't like high definition because whatever. Let's continue, please.
Okay. 49ers Cardinals.
Game is played where?
It's played. It almost feels like we just discussed this game because I'm throwing the Cardinals back into the mix,
Yes.
But it's in San Francisco.
Okay. Now, my tendency is I think the Cardinals are a really good team. You notice I'm not really picking against them very much.
No.
Are they going to be the 72 Dolphins win every game? Probably not.
Well, they already lost to not Jacoby Brisket, but the other guy, Jimmy.
Not Brisket. Oh, both. I would say I'm going to pick.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm going to pick just because it doesn't make sense. I'm going to pick somehow the Niners are going to win at home and somehow.
Somehow.
I see this as a trap.
God.
I think this is a trap game for the Cardinals.
No.
And also I'm not explaining the basis of my opinion, but I'm picking.
There is no basis.
Yes.
There's no possibility.
We'll see how it works out.
You think Carson Palmer, John Brown, the next coming of Marshall Faulk, David Johnson, the UNI graduate, is just going to simply not perform what they're good
I just think it's a trap game. I see the Cards looking past the 49ers, and I see the 49ers winning this game somehow. Your thoughts, obviously, are diverse.
They can play this game on Mars. They can play this game from a San Francisco 49ers basement where the ceiling is like 3 feet tall and everybody has to squat
and
down
all punts hit the ceiling, which would be really fun.
Yeah.
That'd be really
much
fun.
What would happen, just
Great.
like, Jerry Road kind of, except a little less glamorous in a 3-foot basement.
Yes.
There's no way the Niners win this game versus the Arizona Cardinals because the Cardinals have the most talented defense in football. Matthew Peterson, one of the best head coaches. When Bruce Arians left Indianapolis, the whole city has pretty much turned to ruins. Well, maybe not. The city's still in decent shape. But the Colts franchise,
city, especially when the Mavs are
there's
playing.
only one guy playing football
when the
on
Mavs
the
are playing the
Indianapolis
Warriors.
Colts, and that's Andrew Luck. Their management was terrible, and Bruce Arians is so underrated. The Cardinals will whip on the Niners this game, send them into oblivion, maybe like 34-10.
And I'm picking the Niners in a trap game, one of those inexplicable games in the NFL.
Right,
Next
that
game,
just
please.
happens all the time.
Just happens
just to
sometimes.
keep our podcast ratings just.
Oh, not really. No, I really believe. I believe in my gut feeling.
You believe in the Chippewas.
Never, but except for this one game. Let's continue.
Okay, so I have them at we both have them going 1-2 during the stretch. That means that they're going to be 2-3.
Okay.
Chippewas. Well, we could stay in the NFC North, but then the games get very repetitive. Seattle, if we did Seattle, and we gave different opinions on the game.
I don't think we're going to do every team. I think we should just do half the teams.
Sure.
And next time, we'll see how the reception is from the fans of Rover-Sports.
Can we do this New York
So
Football
let's just
Giants?
skip around. New York Football Giants.
Yes, one of the most traditioned teams in the NFL. 1925 is when the Giants were created.
Okay.
Y.A. Tittle. I can name a couple of other Giants from that time.
Frank Gifford, may he rest in peace. Let's continue. Let's do the New York Football Giants. The Maras and the
They're
Tisches.
hosting the Washington R-Words this week.
Okay, I see that. I've seen Washington play.
The R-Words.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah, let's just use the R words. Kirk Cousins. Washington looks dead. They look totally disorganized. They're in free fall. The Giants, however, have a great defense. Offense, I think Eli will get healthy and score some offensive touchdowns. I see this as a win for the G-Men.
The Redskins look flatter than a Pop-Tart on 6 months of sitting in a closet. I think
Can we have one? Well, let's demonstrate. I think we have one right here.
Jay Gruden is a walking. The only reason he has a job is because he played arena football, and his brother happens to have one of the most iconic.
And his brother is Chucky. His brother's Chucky.
His brother's fantastic. The Redskins simply survived last year because the NFC East self-imploded.
They get to play the Chippers a lot.
Look at Josh Norman. Why
place.
would you want Josh Norman around your locker room? All he does is talk. He never gets balls thrown in his general vicinity. All he is a distraction. Do you think Jay Gruden needs more distractions? You think they would have known from having Bob Griffin on their team for the last couple of years?
Yeah, their team is bad, and the owner.
Their team is
Dan
bad.
Snyder.
Matt Jones is not.
We know
that
Dan
great.
Snyder.
Their defense is old, too young.
We don't know Dan Snyder, but I know a lot of people who know him well.
Mm-hmm.
He is
what a nice guy.
Just fill in the blank. He is. Let me just do this for the credit.
A good dude.
No, just allow me to actually speak. He is a blank. Okay, and now let's go to the next game, please.
I'm gonna take that as he's like a really solid.
I think they get it. Yeah,
guy.
sure. Let's go to the next game, please. Let's go. Let's keep it moving.
So I have the Giants winning that game. Obviously.
Next.
Obviously, the Redskins. I said it. Giants and Vikings. This game is going to be played in the Mall of America Stadium, otherwise known as Minneapolis, otherwise known as Hubert's house, Hubert Humphrey Dome. Yep. It's a Monday Night Football game, and in this game, I see Eli Manning maybe throwing for 104 yards on this defense. I see the running game for the New York Giants. I see Justin Pugh and Weston Richburg. They're going to be climbing up like Mount Everest. They're going to be climbing up a hill, and they might not even attempt to start climbing anymore.
They're going to be climbing up a hill made of ice, so they're not going to actually make it to the top of the hill.
They're not going to make it anywhere. I see the Giants' running game in this football game, like Rashad Jennings and Vereen and Darkwa. They'll combined get maybe 20 yards of rushing in this football game. So the good news is the Vikings and Sam Bradford aren't that prolific. Even though Stephon Diggs had a good game, the Giants' defense is very good as well. The Vikings will dethrone the undefeated 3-0 Giants in this game. I'm taking Minnesota ugly 16-6 win.
I agree. I think Sam Bradford knows the Giants very well. He fares well against the Giants. In fact, at the end of last year in what we call the toilet bowl game, which meant absolutely nothing, Bradford really torched the Giants. He's at home in Minnesota, comfort zone. And I think Minnesota proved to be a good home game against the Packers. So I concur.
This is the game where the Giants take the leap of faith. This is where they say to the whole country that we're going to have a first-round bye this year in the postseason. Because that's where I honestly see this Giants team going. I see this Giants defense as being terrific. Eli Manning.
So let's unveil the
Giants are playing at Lambeau Field. Packers on Sunday Night Football. They're going to go out there and they're going to win a tight game in front of the whole nation. They're going to force Rodgers into a couple of turnovers. Eli's going to bounce back. The Packers are overrated. They almost got beaten by Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. In Minnesota, they didn't look efficient on either side of the football. They're old. They never sign free agents. My friends, the Giants are going to go 1-1, a huge bounce back win in Wisconsin for the Giants that will propel them to 4-1 on the season.
I tend to agree with you. I think the Packers are one of the most overrated teams. Rodgers hasn't looked right. The offensive line hasn't protected him. They just seem out of sync. And I think the Giants are better. I think the Giants' offense will gain momentum. I think the Giants have the 3 best wide receivers. I won't call them a tandem. We'll call them a threesome. But certainly adding Sterling Shepard to the mix with a healthy Cruz and Odell Beckham, I believe in certainly Lambeau, it's to the advantage. It's a slippery field. So the receivers have an advantage. I think the Packers secondary is getting old. They're not replenishing their stars. I agree.
When they're getting older. Right. And if Eli has time to throw, against the Vikings, Sterling Shepard, Cruz, and Odell, they're not going to get off against Minnesota. Minnesota's going to be living in Eli Manning's backyard. He's going to be sacking Eli, throwing Eli around like a rag doll. But once he gets out to Green Bay, once he gets to the land of the cheese, Eli Manning is going to have a lot of time to throw the football, actually utilize those weapons. The Giants' O-line might be the only part of the team that will hold this team back from a Super Bowl or potentially being one of the great teams that we remember this season. Okay?
I'll just amplify that by saying the running game. The running game and their O-line, but their defense is solid from top to bottom. I agree with you there.
Yeah, Jennings is okay. He would be okay on a decent offensive line. Let's do the Dallas Cowboys. That's a team that I know are fans on Rover-Sports here.
We already covered a couple of games, but let's try to go over them. Hopefully we'll remain consistent. Remember what we said earlier, like 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Because I know that people like watching demented people at nighttime. That's what's really fun.
How about Cowboys going to the Niners? I mean, what I had in this game is I had Dallas routing out the Niners, and you had the Niners routing out Dallas.
I didn't use the word routing out. I would say squeaking out a victory.
No, I was kidding with you. I got you. Dallas was going to beat the Niners. That was your prediction. Okay.
Thank you. So thanks for trying to confuse me.
It's a little bit of overlap.
Thanks for helping me.
Yeah.
By just trying
just
to
have to jab you here and there, just to keep this a humorous
Make
show.
me look stupid.
Humorous.
Let's do the next game.
It's fun.
Let's do the next game.
It's fun, guys.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Bears, Cowboys.
The Bears. That's a new team. Okay, where's the game played?
It's new, but it's not exactly.
Because we haven't picked the game already.
The Bears aren't the Bears aren't that chick at the bar that you perk up when you see.
No, the Bears are that chick at the bar that you could have a 6-pack of beer. You could be crawling towards the girl, and then you will end up crawling to your car. The Bears have been decimated by the Eagles. I believe that
they're the girl that you look at your phone and just say, like, I'm really busy right
now. Jay Cutler is the girl who's just too tired to even play the game. Not interested.
That's fine.
I think this team.
I think
this team is disinterested. It's going to be a real down year for the Bears. So I pick a Bears loss.
I feel bad for Bears fans that they have to tolerate 14 weeks of this, and now you have Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer. Oh my God,
the most overrated passer in the past couple of years.
Quite boring.
He's the most boring NFL player.
Most boring.
It's either him or Tannehill. That's up there in my boring rankings, but Brian Hoyer just defines mediocrity. There's nothing about Brian Hoyer that he's ever done that is remotely acceptable.
If there's one color that you would describe, it would be just beige. Just beige.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
Continue. Next game.
Cowboys win this game, like a weird game, like 20-13, and Bears fans are like, get us off national television already. We don't want you to see our true selves.
Next, please.
We covered the Cowboys. You have them winning at the Niners. I have them losing. I have Blaine getting off to a
I'm going to stick with my prior
pick. Bengals, Cowboys, that's the game. That is an interesting game.
Where's the game played?
It's in Dallas.
Okay. Now, I look at the Bengals, and I see them as a very good home team, but a terrible away team. And when they play against another division that they're not familiar with, they play poorly. I see this as a Dallas win.
Well, you have the boys going 2-1, so 3-2 for the boys.
I do.
I have the Bengals. Boy, this game is such a tough game to predict. Oh my gosh.
You have the Red Rifle doing anything in this game?
Oh boy. This is the toughest prediction because the Bengals are a decent football team, but I don't see Andy Dalton being able to go after Dallas's defense on the road. I see actually Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott gets it going. Alfred Morris. I see the Dallas Cowboys beating the Bengals. I think going to San Francisco, they'll lose. I don't think they go 3-0 during this stretch. They have a decent chance to. You would now have the Dallas Cowboys at 4-1, Bruce. And so do the New York Giants.
Yep.
4-1. The NFC
so the
East
NFC
is on the rise,
which we used to call the NFC least.
3-2. 3-2 Dallas.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's flip to what do you say we do the Jets? Everybody, the Jets are a metropolitan team.
Sure.
They're a very difficult team to predict.
They are.
So I think we're going to be challenged by these next series of games.
The next series. I hope you guys are enjoying Rover-Sports.
This is Rover-Sports at nighttime.
At nighttime, it's really dark in the
dark
room,
side of the moon.
And it's kind of a mood where you just want to talk football.
Hopefully it'll be a mood where you guys don't just fall asleep and turn us off.
No,
which is possible. Because we're going to definitely stay awake to the end of this.
I recommend.
That's a promise.
I recommend watching this at night, like 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
If
this
you
is
watch
something
this,
you watch
this
it-
isn't a morning
This
thing.
is not a daytime
No,
thing.
this isn't a Starbucks
This is
thing.
a good thing. If you see this in the day, it's a good thing. Hit the snooze button and continue
This
sleeping.
is get away from your wife. Your wife is snoring kind of podcast.
Yeah, if your wife's
It's
snoring, she looks
dark.
like a horse. She definitely needs a throat surgery. But let's continue,
Right.
please. Let's
Looks like a horse.
looks like a horse.
Oh boy, like the
horse.
Churchill Downs.
She
of
looks like
wives.
1,000 pounds of bad meat.
Like she can win the Belmont Stakes.
Oh my God, she's what we call here in Philly FOF, which is layers of fat over fat. When
Like
you see
lamb
it, we call them
chops.
FOFs,
Like-
fat over FOFs.
Like lamb chops, but she'll keep you warm at night if you
Only the
snuggle
fatty-
up tight against
Only the
that.
fatty part of the lamb chop. Let's
But if
continue.
you snuggle up tight, it could provide.
You would
warmth.
want to because she. I think we've got enough of a tangent. Let me get you back on the road.
I want to talk about wives and sleeping for another 20
Right, let's go, please. Let's go.
Okay. Jets and Chiefs. The Jets go, not the Jeffries. The Jets go to Arrowhead, 4:25 primetime affair in Kansas City, Missouri this Sunday.
Okay, I'm picking the Chiefs. Good, comfortable home victory. Jets not a good away team. Jets not familiar much with Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a good plotter. I think he'll watch a lot of film. I predict Chiefs win this game.
It's funny you say that Andy's going to be watching film because I know Todd will be watching 11 days of film considering the Jets played Buffalo on a Thursday night. Fitzpatrick, Decker, Marshall, another Marshall on their team now. Matt Forte playing beautiful football. Fitzpatrick had 2 successful games, especially against that Buffalo secondary. The Jets get 11 days to prepare for a Kansas City offense that scored 9 points against the Houston Texans, and Kansas City should have lost week 1 to the Chargers that were up by 20 points late in the third quarter. Kansas City should be 0-2. They're the most overrated team in football right now. People are just expecting them to turn it on because last year they happened to win 10 straight games after going 1-5. Kansas City is a team that starts slow. Andy Reid's a slow starter. The New York Jets are going to go into Arrowhead, and they're going to win. They're going to win this football game 24-20. Fitzpatrick will outlast Alex Smith, and I really do believe in the Jets this year. I really like what I see from their defense and their team, having Wilkerson back, having Leonard Williams in the middle of the field. Revis needs to improve. He got burnt bad last week, but you have Calvin Pryor. You have an elite level secondary. It is time for the Jets to go into Arrowhead and assert that they're a wild card team this year.
Appreciate your opinion. However, I know that Arrowhead has the best and loudest crowd outside of Seattle. I believe Andy Reid will not lose. He's got a lot of pride. I understand your opinion. I'm predicting the Chiefs. I'm going to reiterate. Chiefs beat the Jets. Jets not a good away team. Fitzpatrick, at least 2 interceptions. We'll see how it plays out.
I get the pick. I really do. It's not the easiest game to pick.
Not an easy game. The
It's
Jets
a difficult
Jets are
one.
difficult. They're kind of mercurial.
Mhm.
Not an easy team to pick. That's why we chose to pick them. So we knew it would induce a very fertile
Induce
discussion.
debate. And you guys can
Indeed.
often comment on the
Of
discussion.
course.
That is encouraged.
Naturally.
Seahawks and Jets. Seahawks have to travel to the
Holy mismatch, Batman. Now,
Jets. No, Seahawks going to the Jets.
no, I understand. Now, Seahawks are a different team. They have to travel east. Jets also have a good home crowd. For all the reasons, I see an ugly, low-scoring game, but for all the reasons, you pointed out all the positive attributes of the Jets. I am picking a narrow Jets victory here.
Wow. Seattle. Ugh, doesn't give me too much confidence seeing them traveling back east. This is going to be a dogfight, like a 12-9 sort of game.
By a dogfight, it's 2 dogs fighting.
It's
Not
two-
always easy to watch.
two
In fact,
toothless
almost impossible to watch.
It's almost two
Two
toothless.
toothless,
dogs.
or we could say offenseless dogs offended.
This is the kind of meat where this is like chewing.
This is a tough meat.
No.
This is a meat that was picked out of the grocery store only because it was inexpensive. It's tough. You're going to have to chew this a while, but like bubblegum, you're going to end up spitting it out before you swallow it.
You know, when I grew up, I had a tough mom, and she would make sure that I was eating my meat. But if she ever cooked meat like medium well, I would have to then, as she would come by my plate, I would have to just kind of put it in my mouth and just kind of saw it off. That's the kind of game. If you watch the first half of this football game, I seriously
I
question
doubt whether you will watch the
your-
second half.
No, I
Of course,
seriously
I think you'll be
question
asleep. This is a game you'll be asleep at halftime.
I question like your life choices, maybe your hobbies. I probably wouldn't love spending time with you.
So you probably would be involved in like a marathon Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, something like that.
Quite possibly, but someone who watches like a 6-3 football half is somebody that probably eats nails for breakfast. Somebody that's probably spending time like hitting a ball against hitting a ping pong ball against a ping pong table for 25 minutes.
Yes, but hitting it with the leveraged up with no opponent, which would make it incredibly
right, like
boring.
Longest yard edition.
Exactly. Let's continue. Next game, please.
Jets win though. I agree with you.
You agree.
12-9 Jets.
Ooh,
Russell Wilson.
ugly affair.
But their offensive line will get dominated by the New York Jets. Seattle, somehow they're going to find a way to get into the playoffs. If Seattle ever finds an offense, like an offensive line this year and Thomas Rawls running the football, then I think Seattle can potentially compete for a Super Bowl. Their defense is going to be there. It seems like their defense might be there for the next 20 years with the way their secondary is, their confidence. I mean, they drafted incredibly.
Is that game 5 for the? Did we get through?
We got one
Jets?
more.
One more.
Oh man! And looking at the Jets, they play at Steelers and at Cardinals, so I can almost project personally 2 losses. But we're only going 5 games. The Jets have to go to Heinz Field for a 1:00 battle.
I think the Steelers. I know the Steelers are a great home team. I just don't think the Jets will do it. I think a low-scoring affair. I think the weather's going to start to turn here in Pittsburgh. Really terrible field. Heinz Field is the worst footing.
It's really cheap.
And I think a lot of times the Jets defensive backs will fall down. Easy touchdowns. Big Ben is going to come up big. I'm really bullish on the Steelers this year. This might be one of my Super Bowl picks to make the Super Bowl. I think the Jets are overmatched. Steelers, a great home team, great crowd. I see that a lot.
Seattle take the life out of the Jets.
Yeah, it's going to be physical. Jets are going to have nothing left. And when
Jets
they go to
are going
Pittsburgh,
to be as soft as rye toast on bacon.
Oh, and that's pretty bad. In fact, even at this hour, as hungry as I am, not very appealing.
I think this game is going to be like if the Steelers, if they hit it might be a 35 to like 14 like blowout.
Could be
blowout. I have the Jets going 2-1 though. I have the Jets at 3-2.
I believe I have them at 2-3.
Right,
2 and 3.
and they kind of got to survive. You had them losing
Still in
to
the
the
mix.
Jets. No, you had
Just
them beating
remember,
the Seahawks. Yeah.
If you're a Jets fan, just remember 2 great things, and I will name them: the Bills and the Dolphins.
And hold on tight to those 2 things.
Right.
This has been an episode of Rover-Sports. We've previewed 5 football teams. We're going to be unveiling this episode probably every Wednesday night. I think for the future, we might give you NFL lines and kind of describe our confidence levels. We might do picks for this week. We decided we'd unveil it with a little futuristic spin on it. We broadcasted and talked about some of the more popular teams in the league. But also, as we talked about the Jets and Niners and so forth, we also uncovered our opinions on their opponents as well. So
We sure did. We did omit talking about some terribly boring teams.
Like the
We
Dolphins.
didn't speak a lot, just to say, we didn't speak about the Dolphins except in passing, nor the Browns, nor the Titans, nor the Jaguars. So hopefully, while it is night, it's peaceful, and everything here in the East is winding down. We want to thank everybody across this great nation, and perhaps in the Philippines and and everywhere else on the great internet. Thanks for watching. Please give us your feedback.
Thank you.
And as we always say, good night and good sports.
Feel the
Rove from Rover-Sports.
Thank you for watching.